use it. All right, anyway, this is the update from Ron about the well. And you guys probably weren't here when we were dealing with the well situation, but we finally got a well dug too. And
is this the backup well?
yes.
Okay.
And this is what he said. We have one well drilled. Cost, including the pump, was $9,500. We hit lots of water at 174 feet. We had brickwork done to make it pretty, and the handle is removed until the emergency need arises. So the well is for emergency. It is a hand pump, yeah.
Okay.
And he said one pump produces approximately 6 ounces per pump stroke. 8 ounces per pump stroke. And then I asked him a question about testing. He said, actually, the test came back, no contaminants. It does have very slight well water taste, but much less than he tasted in the past. And then he said, all is well with our well.
What more can you ask?
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, we could ask for the other 2 wells if the person that donated wanted to do it. Apparently, the person that donated originally wanted to put in 3 wells, but they wanted to see how this one well went first. So,
if there's a pump, but it's a hand pump, pumps are usually electric.
no, it's hand pump.
That's good.
So
In case the power goes.
No, I understand. I've had a hand pump before.
Is
Is the building in general on city water, or does it have wells?
No, we don't have any wells here now.
We get our water from Rock Hill.
Okay,
They pipe it in.
very chlorinated.
And then Carrie Krista started our garden last year. Carrie took over our garden and is in a process of learning. And, we all picked out, this is the update on the garden. We all picked out, she figured out how much dirt we might need. We actually originally got the dirt, but it settled, so we needed more dirt to compensate. So now we're just really trying to figure out, what is going to enrich the dirt. We already ordered fertilizer. We have several bags of fertilizer. And her husband, Ted, kind of made a general rough draft of maybe some ideas, but what I'd like to do during this meeting is kind of brainstorm what types of plants we need and what kind of yield we're going to get. Now, one problem we had last year is we imagined our harvest day and picking all these vegetables and putting them in piles and distributing, but our harvest just trickled in. Like here was, basil was ready. Who gets basil on the list, watering list, or the donation? So we had a watering list and a donation list. Or it was one list with both. And so we went down the list and said, do they like basil? And then we distributed some basil. One thing, we had sweet potatoes. The sweet potato leaves are very good, apparently. They're a delicacy in a lot of countries, but we didn't realize that out here, and they got thrown out. Then we started eating leaves because a lot of leaves on the plants are healthy and tasty. So Carrie was trimming leaves and distributing leaves with the winter garden or the autumn garden. So now, it's a new season. We planted tomato plants. We got a lot of plants from Krista. She was selling plants. And I bought a couple eggplants and put them in the garden from her. Those were very nice. And the pepper plants were okay. The hot pepper plants were prolific. But the tomato plants were kind of a dud, but we do have what do they call those?
Trellis.
We have a trellis, but we also have those wire cages.
Right.
So whatever we get, we can keep that in mind that we have cages. I have Pam Pelagi already planted peas in her garden. Apparently they can be an early crop. So we have 2 different things to get, seeds and plants. And we have to take in mind that we have a garden that's in the courtyard that doesn't get as much sun, so we have to consider that when we're figuring out what type of plants to plant in there. One plant that did well was the butternut squash, somewhat well. I mean, we only got 7, and then someone left them out there, and somebody took them without who knows who.
Yeah.
So, you know, Larry's point is valid. How is the harvesting going to be? Because even though it's once a week, it's still a lot of work to water. You know, you have to make time to do it. And, you know, you're doing it, and the people that put in many donations, you know, I put in hundreds of dollars last year. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that people that put in money, they would like to get some stuff from the garden. And people that put in their time and water would like to get some stuff for the garden. So we can just throw out some ideas now on how that looks. You know, we're all in this together. The mission statement was that we would partner together with our community, with each other, and leadership to have, I don't have the mission statement up, but it's basically in the days of plenty, we would store up like in the days of Joseph in Egypt. So I feel like leadership is participating because we got the well, we got the beds, and the community is participating a little bit. So, you know, in a way, if we don't have a lot of people participating, then we have more food for us.
How many people are participating?
Right now, I mean, I sent out an email to a lot of people. I put that chart, that notice at the front desk, and we're looking at, you know, I know Jeff Carroll, Deb just wants to water, Fred and Mary, so we're probably getting the watering schedule, but the other problem is a lot of people are going on vacation, so we need an abundance of waters, and we have to decide if we want people, you know, we had a very hot summer last year. Do we need, you know, different people that want to water morning and night, you know, depending on their schedule? We have to figure that out. So we have Marcia, we have Mary and Fred, we have Jeff Carroll, we have Deb, we have you guys. So we have Carrie, we have Joan, we have Larry. So we need to write that down and see what days specifically they want to water.
But you don't know how many total people we have that are going to want harvest, do you? You need
Well,
to find that out.
Well, the people that are watering are the ones that are going to be having the harvest,
Oh,
and the
put
ones,
money in.
yeah. And Glenn and Jeanette put 100 in already. They were the first seed. So I know Carrie. You know, these are the waterers, and I haven't. And then Carrie has also offered to take up the donation this time, because at first we were going through Dave Herr, and I think the one that put in a lot of money wanted to go through Dave Herr so that they could maybe get.
Is it tax deductible?
I don't think it was, but he was just keeping track of it, you know, and but it was kind of hard to get it out according to Ron, you know. He had to go through some changes and
What do you mean?
like invoices or, you know, whatever, you know, paperwork. I don't know.
Paper trail
It was
invoices.
challenging to get the money out last time, so if
Oh,
they
you
just,
mean away from Dave Herr? Oh, okay. In other words, okay.
yeah,
It
it went to
go all the way up. It
they
go all the
were,
way up.
and also,
It wasn't
since he
just
doesn't have
Dave Herr.
a secretary
Dave Herr
right now, I don't
has
think he
Dave
wants to
or
deal with
any
that.
number of financial people that handle the whole booking fee
We
system.
don't need to go that high.
Right.
Right, and Carrie she does that for a living, so she keeps books for a living, so she would be the natural person, and she's volunteered to do it, so.
It's
if
not that much to do, really. I mean, you know, in and out. And give thank yous to people who donate. But we have had nothing yet.
How much you need?
Just 100.
And when do you need it by?
Well, so we're going to need a little bit more topsoil. I wanted to ask you a question about this. Ron has told us that we need to keep, this is as of last year, we're supposed to keep the garden up so that you can't see the silver, the metal lining
On the inside?
on the inside.
We can do that with mulch.
So, but you're not supposed to add too much mulch because it can rot the plants. So,
I probably-
We don't need nearly what we did last year, but, yeah, I'm just wondering, how, do we have to be that picky about it? And if we do, then I think we're gonna need about up to 10 bags, seven bags, maybe 10 bags, I can't tell.
Topsoil?
Oh,
Yeah.
wait a minute, topsoil or garden soil?
Um,
Or,
He
Yeah,
worked
but-
at Home Depot, so.
So there's, yeah,
because that makes all the difference in the
We
world
buy
for the kind
organic.
of nutrients that are feeding it.
last year we went to a hardware store and they had local compost that was
Mhm.
very, very good.
Okay.
It's still good, it's wonderful, the
Yeah,
soil
yeah.
looks awesome.
Yeah.
We could use some worms in there because it's a raised bed. But, so there is some soil that we could get from the Farmers Exchange that
Mhm.
has some worms in it, they say.
Worm casings.
Yeah.
But I gave you that number. There's a worm lady
Yeah.
out there.
So, well, anyway, but as
Okay.
far as dirt goes, the inside beds look really good, might just need a little bit. And the outside beds, tend to need more. And then the cedar mulch that I used last time is really inexpensive, right? You looked at that at Home Depot? I don't know.
Yeah.
That seemed inexpensive to me. It was,
Yeah, oh, this is the time of season to get it, because they're always they're on sale right now.
The cedar.
The
Gardening stuff?
Do you get a
yeah,
discount?
Wood chips, yeah.
No,
yeah.
no, you don't get a discount.
Oh.
She said you get a discount,
Oh,
you
no,
said
I
yeah,
don't.
because you weren't.
And I retired, so I'm.
You didn't get a discount anyway.
No, I didn't.
But maybe you're
No, but they're on sale. Mulch is on sale this time of year.
The trouble was getting, I
You buy
wanted to
them
get some
discounts.
clean mulch, I didn't want it to be treated. And so, when I was gardening, looking into it last year, we only needed it for the inside beds at that point, and I ended up with the cedar chips from Lowe's or Home Depot, I can't remember which one I was at. But, that was cleaner than I don't want them sprayed, we don't want the spray on it or anything. So, I don't know.
I didn't know they were treated.
Oh, yeah.
Why would they be treated? Oh, because they're treated, because you want to, I didn't even, never realized that.
Chemicals.
A lot of the reason for mulch is to keep grass out, and so it'd be treated.
So if you have a piece of paper, I would like to just start the watering schedule and see who, Monday, Tuesday.
Wait a minute, you just changed subjects now. We're talking about soil.
Yeah,
I
soil.
don't want to take over the meeting, but we just changed subject all the middle. We just changed subjects from topsoil to water.
Okay.
Do we need to stay with the agenda? What do you
Okay.
think?
Okay, sure,
I'm
yeah.
just- I'm
No,
just-
that's good.
I mean, I'm just thinking that we just jump from one thing to another
So,
Yeah,
I'm wondering
soil.
about
and mulch, I mean, sorry.
No,
the
that's good.
inches.
Soil and
Not a word,
mulch.
tell me.
how much, like last fall when we filled it with the dirt, it looked really good, it was really high, I'm not sure we have to be that picky, I'm wondering what your thoughts are on it.
Of it being really high.
Of it being really high and not showing anything for the metal,
How-
Could you sort of
thinking-
pile some mulch around the edges to
around-
hide
good idea.
it, so you
Yeah.
don't have to
That's
pull it
a
all the way
really
up?
good idea.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Excellent. And I
Cover the
don't
whole
have a
thing.
problem with it being really high because the plants literally eat the dirt and that's their nutrient. And so the line goes down. I see
Yeah,
it with
There's
my
a-
own plants.
But I dug down, there's at least this much good dirt.
So you got plenty of soil.
Yeah, the soil
We
is
still
awesome.
have soil?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
No, I mean bags of it.
No,
Okay.
It's not like topsoil down this far and then clay the rest of it.
no.
Gravel.
I didn't hit the gravel.
Gravel.
And I dug down, I bet this far,
Okay.
so I didn't hit the gravel. I figured we have a lot. That's good, isn't it?
and the
Yeah,
nutrients
well,
are still good,
I think
right?
that 12 inches for potatoes, I've
Oh,
heard
okay.
that, 12.
Well, the kicker about that is two-sided, because when you have a clay base, it can only go down so far.
They don't have clay.
Don't have clay.
No, I'm just saying, no, if you had a clay base, the water wouldn't continually go down and keep it from,
But they don't have clay.
you're not listening to me. Clay is good because it keeps a barrier from it going down too far, and then you have to, because the water keeps going down with topsoil and.
It's going all the way through.
Yeah,
Well-
so it can be drier faster. That's my-
And the beds aren't that deep. I don't think they're all the way to the ground, though. I think that
They're not.
Oh,
the metal,
okay.
right? How far does that go? It's like inside of the frame. How
I'm
deep
not
is
sure.
that? Yeah.
I'm
Is there a
not sure,
bottom to
but
it?
I wasn't here when they built
I don't
them.
think there was a bottom. I think that they just put
Yeah,
like
then there is a code base down
cardboard
there somewhere.
down.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't
Did you
think
say
there was a
cardboard?
bottom. Yeah, they did. They put
because
cardboard,
there's a
newspaper.
liner in some of it.
Huh?
There's a plastic liner in there too.
There is, in the bottom?
I've seen it.
I've seen the edges of it around.
All the way at the
truck.
bottom?
I don't know how
On the
far down
side.
it
And
goes.
they put the papers on top of that, didn't they?
I wasn't here.
Okay, well, we're gonna have to ask
Do we
Ron,
know-
Exactly.
It's probably in front of
because
the,
he built them, or
Yeah.
had them built.
here's
Yeah.
the board, and it's probably on the inside right there to keep them from running out too fast. So that would be probable.
Yeah, well, there's one way to find out.
Okay, well, anyway.
All right, so we just
Okay,
need
so
to
love
ask
the idea
Ron.
About the rim around, we will take that one,
So,
and
you know, for efficiency purpose, who would like to ask Ron? So this way.
I'll
five of
ask
us-
him. I'm gonna keep notes.
Good. So this way, five of us wouldn't be approaching him and he'd
Or
get
none.
annoyed.
All right, so Ron, and I'll just keep a list of the things. I'll put his name on there, and then everything that needs to go through him.
Okay.
So, just what is the question exactly?
how are the beds made,
Yeah, what's inside? the
What's
bed?
at the
What are
bottom of the
layers?
bed?
The layers, yeah.
the layers of the bed?
Yeah.
Did he just make it, or did he also put the dirt in it?
No, he
Two
didn't.
different
He put
questions.
the dirt in.
We
He
did.
made it,
We put it in.
I think.
Yeah,
No,
Larry.
we did.
Larry knows.
We put it in. But I,
Yeah.
you know what? I don't know the depths of the layers. I don't know
We got the cardboard. I remember that.
I remember the cardboard, but after that,
Cardboard's is
We
like
put a lot of
anything
topsoil
on
in
the
there.
bottom of dirt that would
Yeah,
get wet.
I guess so. 'cause it
we put a
looks-
bunch in there.
Yeah.
All right, so back to dirt. So should we get some worms? Because there's a lady that sells things of worms by the plant exchange or whatever that's
Yeah, you
called.
sent me that.
Farmers. Yes, I sent it to Carrie. So there, we should probably get some worms. We need to. What I heard is the plants like to eat. They like to eat. The plants need nutrition. So I don't know why we didn't get a lot of yield last time, but maybe we need to continue to brainstorm what types of things we need.
I think that's an excellent idea. I picked up that the quality of the soil is what makes the plant. Through a TV show that happened to talk about a grove failing, but the soil was good. So why was the grove failing? Because it didn't get the attention it needed. But it had all the makings of a good grove. And they needed ash for the olives to grow. So
Yeah,
each,
Different plants are gonna need different things probably.
exactly.
Question, if I could just interrupt, were we watering too much? Was the soil saturated all the time? I'm just talking.
In the lack of sunlight in the courtyard.
Well, no, we just had a lot of water. We might have overwatered. I'm just talking.
Well, from
That's what it's called.
Harry's research, in the beginning they needed to grow.
Yeah.
But then it lessened.
What happened to me was this, because I went down to check the garden almost every day. It rained a lot, at different times.
Sure
where
did.
it would- So, I think what our plan was to stick our finger in and see if it needed watering
Yeah.
or not, And so maybe we could have let it be a little drier before we watered. That's my opinion, let it dry out a little bit more before we watered.
But if you had multiple
then
people
again-
But
checking it.
sometimes it was soaked because it rained so much, it just like days of rain.
Yeah,
so-
we have to think about summer and winter.
Right. and this
So
is
during
why.
the summer, they said it was very dry,
Okay.
and they were wilting.
Okay.
Right. And so they
Right.
had, and they did teach us how to do it. We had to stick our finger in, and if it was dry, then they watered.
I remember that.
So,
Is there a guideline on how long you hold the water on it, or you pour a gallon in it, or, how?
Okay.
How do you know how much water?
Saturated.
No, that's a good question.
We
Okay.
try not to water the leaves and,
The baby ones in particular.
yeah, so, keeping close under, down.
To
and-
the
So-
Do you have a hose, or you're
so-
filling up a watering can?
We have
or-
hoses.
We have guys hoses.
Okay, good.
With an
Hoses are good.
adjustable,
Nozzle.
nozzle.
You can-
Spray for not spray,
Yeah,
so it
right,
doesn't
so-
damage the plant, right?
Did we plant too late last year?
Yeah, that was an issue, and that might affect the yield. I
Could that be
wouldn't
corrected this
surprised.
year?
Right.
Yeah.
Last year you didn't plant till June, right?
That
That's-
sounds really great.
So we're planting soon.
Okay.
We needed permission, so,
Oh.
and we started.
And we need the beds.
meeting. Yeah, we started meeting.
Somewhere to plant.
When it was time to plant, and so then.
That's right, it was late, wasn't it?
We had approval, we needed the beds, so, but I thought, under the conditions, we did really well, because the first year is usually the smallest yield. So we only have more to look forward to.
All right, who blessed the garden and blessed the plants?
Oh, and Marcia prayed over the garden
Oh,
all
yeah.
the time. She was
Okay.
always out there
I just
praying
heard
over the
something
garden.
about that.
Yeah.
Yield of just, today is some,
That's
or
a good
yesterday
point.
something.
A guy had a
gone.
pecan grove and he got like
That's good.
50 pounds or something one year, and then he prayed over them every time he mowed around them, and they had like 600 pounds the next year.
And we can ask the waterers to pray as they're watering.
That's a
Yeah,
good point.
that is a good point.
You just stand there. Yeah.
Talk to them. The plants
The
like to be
other
talked
thing-
to.
They like
Yes,
it.
yes, I've heard
They
that
do.
too.
They're living.
And positively, not,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Remember
You're no
Rick's
good. No.
picture of the water that was talked well to and the water that was not talked well to? Well, it's everything in the earth.
Yeah, I saw that. David.
That's good.
So as far as, like, when we planted the cruciferous ones, you know, the broccoli, the cauliflower, the Brussels sprouts, and whatever it was.
Cabbage.
So we didn't realize how dark the inside garden would be in that time of the year. Hardly gets any sun at all. So we had this whole one section, and then most of the back and part, I mean, only parts of it got enough light, but the parts that got the light, actually the cauliflower and stuff grew, but they only grew to be about this big because the frost came.
Oh, that's right.
And I think that was an early frost, I'm not sure, I don't remember, but it seemed like it. So they were healthy and everything, the ones that were in the right place, and, you know, but we didn't know where the sun was gonna be, and,
Yeah.
I mean, especially me, I don't know what the heck I'm doing,
Oh,
so.
we were
Well,
talking
we
about
all
that
know
the past
now.
couple of days,
Right.
trying to figure out where
We
the
all
sun's
know
gonna be in the
now.
summertime. And,
Right.
we all get a compass and everything, and it's just driving us nuts trying to figure it out.
So it sounds like we need to find out, if we don't know already, what plants don't need a lot of sun.
Right.
And plant in that area that doesn't get a lot of sun this time of year.
Which
Yeah.
we did learn some of
Very
that.
good thought.
Ted looked, I wish he was here, he's out in the chiropractor, but he looked up, you know, a lot of that. What, you know, like, and so then he kind of did a square foot gardening thing here,
Cool.
and it, you know, it can be changed, but like we realized after this, there just still isn't much sun right here at all anyway, so those aren't probably, we're gonna have to switch that out. You can put lettuces, all the greens and everything, the
Okay.
little ones,
The,
they can
the lettuces
deal
do
with a
well.
lot of shade.
Okay,
you know.
any other
that's
vegetables
good.
besides lettuce? Because we can have all
Oh,
sorts
yeah,
of
bok
lettuce.
choy, all of those kind of things.
Basil.
All the greens that we enjoyed. And we planted those too far. We planted too many in a row. I had to like thin it out, but we could have
Right.
planted more rows.
Mm.
So I think now we know we can plant more rows. And we could have planted them, the big ones closer together. They told us 18 inches, that was too far apart.
Oh,
So there's
okay.
all these things that I think we
You
can do
can-
better.
you're
Right.
learning from,
This
right.
time. We got a lot of scallions that really, you know,
We
those,
did.
those things grow easy, but even over the winter, the arugula lasted all winter. There were 3 of them that did. I was cutting leaves off of the Brussels sprouts and the cabbage right up until, I don't know, even after the frost, we were using them, but
They're
we never
fine.
got a cabbage tag.
We probably could have grown something in the past month or two.
Yeah, we
Well, now
definitely
we'll know
could
for
have.
next year.
Yeah, well,
Anyway.
yes and no, now, because here, we got this freeze in the
Frost,
past 2 or 3
so-
nights, that would have killed them.
That's
But the
right.
squash grew okay in that
We'll
dark.
have to follow the leading of the Lord on that.
Yeah.
How about that? Yeah,
So
that's a good idea.
If you guys want to take any of these and, you know, take a blank and fill it in. I thought I did 10 of these too. I must have left them upstairs. But this is the garden without the square footage thing on it. You know, this is the inside garden, the outside garden. And you can just imagine, you know, the light doesn't come here over, I mean, it gets a teeny weeny little bit of light at the tip of this thing, and it kind of goes up at an angle like that, you know, so
Okay.
all
So
the lights.
that's the courtyard?
Yeah, the
that diagram,
courtyard.
That one right
So
there?
You know,
this part gets sun.
This part does not, this one and this area right here gets hardly
Okay,
and even a little bit here. That,
okay.
I mean, I don't know, the sun's still moving around, but it doesn't, it still only gets, if you're lucky, right now, we're only getting two hours, 3 hours
Right
in
now?
there now.
Okay, so what I'm getting is that all our very sunny vegetables need to be on the outside.
Most of them, except for you could use this bed here.
And then
maybe a
that
little
one-
bit,
Is there any other place
So
we
he
could
put-
put a bed that?
but
They would let
peppers,
you?
tomatoes, eggplants.
Maybe
you
later.
Put along the back outside.
No?
And then
Maybe
whatever you
later,
want.
if
But
they
I
see
think the
that we're
greens
staying
need
with
to
the,
go
you know,
I-
that was
The greens inside, I think that's.
their reason for not wanting to have beds, because they want to see, you know, how well it,
Whether
It
it's
works.
worth messing up the shrubs that make it look pretty to
Right.
put something that's not gonna work anyway and then,
They want the seniors to see if they're gonna follow through.
Yeah.
We had a lot of people quit over here.
I
The other
understand.
thing is nutrients, like I fed the bigger plants, the cauliflower and stuff, some fertilizer, but not enough, I found out. I needed to be more generous with it, because they
Really?
needed more potassium and whatever they get in that 10-10-10 or the 20-20.
How about nitrogen?
Nitrogen's in there.
Well,
Phosphorus?
I'm sure that has everything to do with how much more rainfall it gets, because it just washes on down.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I
It'll
mean.
leach right through.
Well, they say not mix it in, just lay it on top so that when it rains, it goes on there, in there. But, I
So you're
mean,
using dry fertilizer.
yeah, and you're not supposed to put it near the baby plants.
Right,
So,
right.
okay, so you guys know all of this. I'm like,
Yeah.
it makes
Well, you
sense
know
now.
that.
We
We lived in the
wo-
woods in the shade, so we
Okay.
didn't really.
Even we had 3.5 acres, but it was
Shade.
horrible planting anything vegetables and,
Okay.
and,
We tried to grow tomatoes one year, and we had a few tomatoes, and they had some black spots, and we said, we learned that they were either we watered them too much or not enough.
Yeah.
Like, so how did that help us?
Right,
that's another thing we need to be aware of, like if anybody sees any pests,
yes.
the waterers have to be on the lookout for pests, so we can keep that pest population down and figure, research what kind of pest it is, and
So, and again, last year I sprayed like every week when I first started seeing it.
We had to.
And then, a little less, but I.
and she sprayed good stuff, not
Yeah,
bad.
peppermint.
oh,
Did it
okay.
work?
You know, the oils.
Did it work?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
great.
the healthy
Neem oil,
stuff.
but with
Yeah.
peppermint and then a
Uh-huh.
little bit of good Myers dish soap. They said, we're just.
Oh, that's
fine,
interesting too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So did you not have a bug problem?
no.
Yeah, once you took care of it,
I mean.
That was the winter garden, but I don't think the summer garden had much either.
Yeah, yeah.
No, it didn't.
So, there were a few slugs after the frost. There was some slugs that came up.
And conversely, we're talking about no sun, that you go outside, they get sun all the time. Right, and that's especially in the afternoon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
When it gets hot out there.
Yeah, it gets
Right.
too hot out there, so that's gonna have to be watered more than, I would think, than the inside one.
Would there be any possibility of putting like a little shade?
Yes,
Thing
Ron
over it?
said something about that, if we wanted to do, when it was getting cold, he said, well, do you wanna put some plastic out there if you wanted to create something like that. So I don't know, maybe they would let us put some shade out there, I don't know.
Mm,
But,
I wonder, it's gotta be aesthetically,
right,
because I mean, it is around the back, but it's
Right.
still,
Exactly.
yeah.
they got
By the
shrubs out
by
there.
the dog poop station.
But the inside one, I think, is Dave Yarnes uses that courtyard
Jurisdiction.
for meetings. He's out there once a week at least.
Oh, he loves that.
So he likes the garden, he's happy about it, but
Yeah.
that one, we have to
He
make
wants
sure
it to
it
look
looks
nice.
good.
I was just thinking the one that was too sunny. I wondered, they have like shade things that sort of
Outside.
let filtered
Yeah.
light through.
Mm.
If you do plastic, make sure the plastic doesn't touch the plants, because that actually freezes
Well,
them faster.
we didn't even do it, so.
that actually worked.
Freezes them faster if you put plastic over them
Oh,
if it's
wow.
touching it.
Okay, good to know.
So,
I've killed a few plants that way.
All right.
so are we moving on to your concern, Larry? As far as distribution of harvest?
I don't know what, I don't know how you're gonna distribute and how many people are involved, I don't know.
Well,
X amount, X, is it 20 people, 15?
yeah, around that.
We don't know.
15.
Well, we will know, oh, well, actually, when we're having our next meeting will be on April 5th, on Wednesday. And Carrie and Ted are actually going to be on vacation for a substantial amount of time. So we're actually wanting to plant, yeah, well, that's fine, but we want to plant the 7th, 8th, or 9th.
Oh,
So
for
that's
April?
another, yes, of April. And so,
And
and
that's when
also,
they're going to be gone? They're going to be gone during that
yes,
time?
and so hopefully we have enough
No,
people
we're
that,
leaving the 11th,
Oh,
so we're
okay.
hoping to get things in.
oh, yeah, no,
Oh,
they're
it'll be
leaving
planted by
after
then.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good.
I'm trying to see
So, you know, who here would be interested in planting and which day is more convenient? Because one is Friday, Saturday, or Sunday.
Friday would be better.
Are we willing to
So that would be the 7th?
I'm available on the 7th.
I'll be here
Weather may
whenever.
pertain too, so you might want to plan for like a Friday and then you've got Saturday and Sunday as a backup too.
Oh, that's a good point.
Good point.
Gonna be done in one day?
I love it.
Yeah, that did happen last
And
time.
Yeah, because it
it
might
doesn't
rain.
take long.
Yeah, it can be done in one day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we can do it
I want
Wednesday.
April showers.
All right, so tentatively we'll plan on the 7th, which is a good
Friday?
day. Yeah, Friday, the 7th, which
Is there
is like,
anything planned at Morningstar or anything going on that's gonna keep people away?
Good point.
I have no idea
I mean,
what
I've,
their schedule
I have an
is.
open initiative meeting on Tuesday nights,
Yep.
and let me tell you something. It's hard to plan now, there's so much going on, I just wanna bring that up. You just don't know who's gonna show up and who's not, there's gonna go Bob Jones, I gotta go to Vision Center, I gotta go to
Yeah.
I gotta go to, Anyways.
Exactly. But well, tentatively, we're gonna plan
Seventh.
on the plant on the 7th. And so that means,
it's 3 weeks out,
like 9 o'clock in the morning?
3 weeks out.
Yeah, so before then, we'll get the soil and whatever,
And plants.
and the plants, but who's gonna, are we gonna do, you and I will do the
Yes.
plants? Okay.
So that's another thing we would like to discuss during this meeting, because if our next meeting is at the 5th, we'll probably have a core meeting like we used to have on like a Monday night, or whatever night's good for people. And then, but it would be nice to, during this meeting, to nail down a few of our desired plants that we want. And I'm trying to get a list from Krista, but she did say, I mean, I liked the eggplant, and it was one that was producing, not that much, I mean, I had a few,
You produced,
yeah. Well, we only had 2 plants, so maybe we can get more plants of the eggplant.
Yellow or?
you had more than 2.
No, there was only,
zucchini
I mean, there's
squash.
only 2 plants. We have more eggplants than 2, but we only had 2 plants of eggplant.
Okay.
What'd you say? Zucchini?
Zucchini or yellow squash?
Yellow squash or zucchini?
Yeah, so we did have that down here, squash.
It'll come out earlier this year, right?
Yep.
It just produces once a summer, right?
No, continue to produce.
It didn't last time.
So,
Oh, it's-
I think
Squash
we
in
should,
Virginia would produce for months.
are you writing
Yeah.
down
Weeks at
vegetables?
least.
Yeah,
Zucchini
yeah.
or yellow
It's
squash,
beautiful,
is
so-
that okay?
I figured they
Yeah.
would produce more than that. We had a
Yeah,
garden here
both.
12 years ago that did.
I think they're easier than
Yeah, after time,
cucumbers,
after
but
time.
maybe we could try
Sure.
cucumbers on a, you know, where we talked about,
So
like,
cucumbers go up a trellis, would have the wires, right, the cucumbers? Does anybody know? It looked like that.
I know they don't have to, but it looks like you would have better for things that would go up, would take up
Yeah.
less room
so
down
otherwise
below.
it's gonna
Yeah.
grow.
So I know, I've seen them grow out on vines, but if you,
Okay.
I would think they could
could
go
use
up.
it.
Squash probably good too. right?
Squash went all over. took
because
off.
we have 2 trellises outside, and we have those metal
Right.
cages.
So cucumbers, yes?
Possibly, but peas, sweet peas, and
We don't
the
like
flat
cucumbers,
peas.
So I'm not voicing
Sweet
on
and
cucumbers,
flat.
but that's fine. I know a lot of people
Peas
do.
do well, pretty hardy.
Yes.
We're gonna
People give
go.
us, so we have
yeah,
to figure out a
go
way to
that
deal with
later.
them.
Let's talk about the bigger plants.
We
How
don't ever
about
like to throw
eggplant?
things out.
Does
Yeah.
anybody want eggplant? or
Yes,
not really?
definitely.
Yes?
I
eggplant.
do.
How do you feel about eggplant? Do you use it?
It's not something we buy, but if there was some available, we'd find a way to eat it.
Right.
That's why we mentioned
How do you feel
zucchini
about it?
and yellow
Well,
squash. We
I'm
love that.
staying away from nightshade.
Yeah,
That's about once in a while, I'm okay with that.
okay.
How about
So,
tomatoes? Is that,
how about a small amount of eggplant, small amount? of tomatoes we want to try too.
Well-
We had a hard time with tomatoes last year, didn't we?
Yeah, we
had
did,
something
and I
happen.
think
What
we need,
happened?
But you need basil with that.
Yeah, we need basil.
You know what, it's really good to know what the complementing plants
Yes.
are.
I
because
know
they
Linda and
nourish
Rich
each
like eggplant too. I think that if, we want to try to get things that produce a lot of food.
other. Mhm.
On the tomatoes, did you do regular sized tomatoes or like the
I
cherry
don't know,
tomatoes?
I wasn't here for that planting, so.
We got them from Krista. I don't know what kind she used.
So.
The-
I never saw a tomato
Oh.
off those plants.
Basil did good.
Yes, very good.
So if we
Roma
put
should be
our tomatoes with the basil, find out what tomatoes are usually more successful.
How about that? That's a great idea, thank you.
I just bought like $50 worth of plants from Michael Fickus. And 2 of them were tomato plants. They're like a black tomato. I'll just keep them under the lights till it's time to plant them. And I got a couple, peppers and some lettuces. But, obviously it's just a little start.
The peppers did well, right?
Bell peppers? They
No,
were
the small ones.
They were like black
The
too.
small one.
Oh, the peppers, hot
Yeah.
peppers.
They did
Hot
well.
peppers did really well.
That's when they put out. That's when they put out, right?
That's nice.
That's the ones that we put out.
Yeah.
We all
Yeah,
got
we
some
had
of
a lot
that.
Yeah, we
I
all
like
got
hot
some of
peppers
those.
even.
In the summer?
Yeah, we got it.
Oh, I didn't even know that. Dave Yarns wants some hot peppers.
Oh, yeah? Oh, wow.
Well, we'll definitely have
have
hot
plenty.
peppers
All right, well,
in
then that one
abundance.
goes.
I got one plant that's like
You're
a
over
colored,
one.
has a lot of colored hot peppers. Should be fun.
Oh, that's pretty.
So one plant has multiple colors?
Yeah.
So how much money you need, my dear?
But you don't know if the tomatoes, if you have cherry, like the little tomatoes, or if they're gonna be bigger tomatoes.
How much money?
How much money we need?
How
I
much?
haven't
Oh,
grown-
you were looking at the donations. How much donations do we have so far?
I wasn't specifically, you mean how much do we have so far?
Yeah.
What do you
Oh,
need?
just the
What do you need to
100.
get this thing
We
going?
just have the 100. I was looking at who donated last year to get an idea how many people. were-
Sharon does. That one Sharon lady gave a lot of money.
Yeah, she did.
Sharon did.
She
Well,
gave $1,000
We
bucks.
gave her a lot.
Wow.
We don't need to talk about that right now on this.
Not for our garden though.
Yeah, she did.
She
She
did.
I
donated
mean,
a lot.
for the later one, she did for the early.
And she
The
gave
early
us
one.
another 100 for ours when
She
I'm
gave a lot. She was very generous.
very generous.
Very nice.
And she might have more time to help us this time because her book deal might be done.
That would be
yeah.
wonderful. We can
Okay.
use all the help we can get.
Yeah, I'm going to be putting this video, this recording out to all the residents. So if anybody wants to participate after they hear this and they couldn't make the meeting, then we're going to be so grateful for the help for the community garden.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Okay.
Do you have an email list?
We do.
Are you on this? Do I have your email?
Come and eat, Larry. Come and eat.
I didn't get an email, so I don't know who's on the list, but for some reason, I didn't get an email about this
Hello?
meeting. Mhm.
I don't think I just saw a
Yes.
sign at the desk.
So, I was
don't
very
think-
grateful to see the sign.
Well, I have an email list, but it might be a old heritage list. So,
All right.
and I have several email
Oh,
lists.
yeah, and this one only shows phone numbers, which I like texting when we're actually in the
Right,
midst of
I-
it, because it's just faster.
Well, and I think there's a definite benefit to texting, but like announcing about a meeting or something. And I know, my understanding is that texting, you've got to like start a whole new list if somebody adds on. You can't just add them to it. Is that right?
No? Oh, yeah, for texting.
Oh, for texting, yes.
So, our first few meetings, I don't know if you made it, were like 60 people. But we were able to put flyers in every mailbox. And people got the word.
That's the best.
But now, Heritage was doing that for us, and the front desk was doing it, and they got overworked. So I don't know if there's a way to, once again, look into that opportunity.
That would
Also, I
be
wanted to get Nate in here at the EPP meetings, because he's now new security. I think emergency preparation plan would include him. I mean, we had Dave Hurd that pushed through the emergency number for the Heritage residents, actually for the whole church. So that was really good. So it was communication too. We've had some really good speakers, and we have a lot of the meetings on my YouTube channel. They've been excellent as far as information. Like Michael Fickus did a really good thing on gardening. Clint Rogers did bartering. We had other people doing the raised beds, and those last few people were really good with all the
Yeah, so, yeah.
When there's an emergency well, how does that actually work? You'd have to go out to the well to get your water with a bucket or something. I guess that's,
actually Sharon or Mackie, there's something called a dolphin pump. So if you put, you get a 3-gallon or 5-gallon water jug, you can put that on top and just pump it. So we could wheel out a cart and put the water in those jugs and then pump it from there. And
Where
have
is
it.
the well? Kind of-
The well is like right at the beginning of, right up on the Bob Jones side,
Okay,
kind of near that trail.
okay. We walk over there quite a bit, so we've probably seen it and don't know what we're looking at.
you know what's ironic? We have 2 6-gallon jugs we used to have when we used to have horses. And we just, our son's visiting it, and we just got him to fill them up just today.
Oh, good.
2 6-gallon jugs, you know, and it's chlorinated water, but you want chlorinated water to last. And we've got 2 or 3 different filters that you could pour it through to
Unchlorinated.
unchlorinated. So we're fine for
make it
6 gallons anyway. But of course, you know, when you need to flush your toilet, you need
Yeah, that's going to be a different
at
story
least
altogether.
they're probably 1-gallon flushes, so they don't take like
Well,
the
we
whole.
might not be able to flush if we don't have any power.
Well,
You can flush, you just won't fill up. You can flush with, I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah.
shouldn't. But
I
you
don't
can flush,
know.
you can flush the toilet without water, without the power.
I know, but
But
if
then
it
won't
was
fill up.
long range, where's it going to all go? I don't know. You were talking.
because they're being pumped out. Yeah.
I don't know where it goes. I just know a toilet flushes without electricity.
I mean,
Do you want to do this in the cool, in the shady, no, which one? The broccoli, is it, they like cool, but you can put them in
We have to
all the time if it didn't get totally.
well, we need to confirm
Yeah,
that, what they need.
I would say
and
everything needs
decide
some
whether-
sunlight. And,
Sunlight,
and if, you know, if there's part of these gardens that aren't getting any sunlight, I think we're wasting our time putting something.
Well, it
out
did
there.
grow squash on that side, so maybe it was enough indirect sunlight where when it was passing over, it gave enough, maybe not like beating down on it, but, you know, it did kind of, I don't know,
Yeah,
the building, I think, blocks it.
yeah. Yeah, I would tend to want to put at least some yellow zucchini out. And
Out
all
front.
but is that too much?
Yeah. It's a lot of sun.
So what likes a lot of sun?
Think about more as
Onions, do onions like
Well,
sun?
onions
So why don't we do,
Onions
Yeah,
do good all
I think most gardens are full sun.
Yeah.
Most big gardens are full sun, so
And your dad's garden.
my dad's garden was, and I was like 30.
So I think it's more of an issue of finding things that will
Okay, so,
grow in the
so the
shade.
outside garden
There's a lot of sun.
is a lot of sun, so that's good then.
so that'll be good for the onions, and we can find out what vegetables like a lot of sun, and what vegetables go together well. Or herbs go together.
If you guys are chatting about that, if you could put it on here, that would be good. Or unless you're having a private conversation.
We're just talking about what vegetables would go good together, what vegetables we would like. So any suggestions? from those who are not here would also be appreciated.
Yeah, that'd be good, 'cause I'm just not that.
Yeah,
And help that do with garden, but that's every bit of 30 or 40 years ago. We've been in our house for 41 years.
yeah.
My observation has been that people have found an easier time to grow the little tomatoes than the bigger tomatoes.
Yeah, I think that's a
Especially
good
in smaller
point.
gardens
Cherry
like
tomatoes
that.
would be nice.
Cherry,
Yeah, I've heard that as well,
cherry tomatoes, yeah.
now that you've mentioned it.
I like the bigger ones better, but they're harder to grow.
May I ask why you like them
They're meatier.
They're meatier.
There's more tomato there.
better? There's more tomato? Okay. Yeah.
Although our friends in Virginia had some little tomatoes, and they were the best tomatoes. You could eat them right off the vine. They were the little bitty ones. They were really good.
So as far as broccoli and cabbages go, Carrie and Joan, I just want to ask you, I might have gotten like 2 little pieces of broccoli, you know, and maybe none of the cauliflower. So, I mean, I'm just talking about yield, like
I mean,
his
that's all it
point.
produced, or that's all you got.
Well, no, it produced more,
You
but,
just don't, that was all that you ended up with.
yeah, but the people, you know, we had a lot of people that needed to eat it, and we only had maybe 9 plants. And so, you know, it just got lost in the shuffle. I mean, I think his point was valid, you know, where, you know, are people going to get harvest, you know? So I think we should be thinking about prolific, more than just one plant food. If we can, you know, maybe we should look up what yields the most.
That's good.
Yeah, because you're right. The extremely minimal amount of space we have to deal with is huge in
It's not
terms
huge.
of compared
It's
to
just
what you
the
just said.
But, you know, we did the most with it because Carrie, you know, she was smart to cut the leaves and let us eat those. You know, we like greens. So we were able to eat the greens, you know. So that was one benefit of having those. So actually they were a little bit,
I never heard of that. That's pretty
Oh,
wild.
Oh, they were
Potato
really
I
leaves.
am so looking forward to.
Now, what do you
sweet
do with
potatoes.
them? You cook them or do
No, you can
use
eat them in a salad.
Oh,
Yeah.
Salad,
You
okay.
chop them up really fine,
Uh-huh.
because they tend to be a little tough, and then you
Okay.
put something on it to soften it, like oil and vinegar.
Okay.
well,
And it's amazing.
Yeah.
I make all sorts of coleslaw. Whatever green I have, put it with cabbage and the green.
Okay.
well, Carrie's cooked green was delicious. She brought me a batch once, or maybe even twice, and it was so good. But I like green lettuce, you know, like the spring mix. So
Yeah.
I just chopped it up in there, and I couldn't even tell the difference.
So you added to something else you had.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I just chopped everything together with the little scallions and just chop, chop, chop.
Yeah.
And it was so yummy.
There's dandelion greens outside. There's dandelion greens
Yeah, they probably
outside.
they probably spray them. I would be glad to eat those. They
They're
would,
bitter though.
I've
Oh, really?
But I know you can.
Dandelion is bitter,
I'm-
and you need to put something with it.
I bought some edible flowers today too.
That's
Have
one
you
of
tried
those
them?
things, look,
Well, no, they're just little plants.
No for that.
There was a plant sale at
But if you
CSCL.
add
I
something
purchased like
sweet to it,
$50.
carrot or
They were like $5
Interesting.
a thing.
Okay.
But
Then it's not bitter anymore.
Yeah, and if you gear yourself.
it's a
good
donation
for you.
to the church. I mean, to the school. So, so what were you thinking, Carrie? You and Joan? Did you want to say that for the
I'm gonna
thing?
summarize that we're discussing what kind of vegetables we'd like and whether they need a lot of sun, whether they're high yield, and whether they need a little sun in terms of planning where to put the seeds or the plants.
And also that what complements the other one in the garden. Like
Yes.
I think she brought that up too, Elizabeth did. So,
For instance, tomato goes with basil. There are other plants that do really well together, and maybe if we do some tomato, because our basil did well, maybe our tomatoes will do better. And if we do the smaller ones, which
So
usually
what
do
you're saying is that the nutrients in the basil help the tomato? Okay.
Or
Really?
they didn't require the same ones either, not robbing
Oh,
from each
okay,
other.
all
Right.
right,
Right.
okay.
Also, another consideration might be, which ones are shading, I don't, it's just off the top of my head, which, basil's small, we don't want it to get overpowered by, or maybe the shade's good from
True,
the bigger plants.
true,
You know,
like the
there's so
tomato
much to
grows
consider.
and the basil is shorter, that's a good point.
Just make sure that it's, well, it can still overshadow no matter what side it is, and facing the sun, it gets, this tomato plant will still block its sun. So that's something you have to watch.
I have a question too about,
Maybe not any closer than a foot apart or something, I mean, those vines will.
I know, we're gonna hear,
We'll have to figure that out.
Larry just
because
had
as like basil grows fast and other leafy plants that grow fast, you need to keep cutting them.
Okay, Larry's conversation is gonna be all on this thing.
Well, hopefully not.
Larry, by the way.
Well, anyway,
Oh,
I
well,
think he's too far,
I don't think so.
no,
Well, we'll see.
we will.
so it ended up in the fall that I was the one clipping which I don't mind, but, I mean, they would come fast and furious. All of a sudden, 4 days later, at some point, I'd have a whole bag of greens, and I could
I'm sorry, but I
distribute
had to take that
those,
call.
which was great.
That was worth some money there.
Anyway.
That was a money call
Is
there.
anybody else interested in,
Insurance,
doing
I'm
that?
sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, so
I screwed
Carrie
your
was
meeting
just
up?
talking about, this was a good point.
Oh.
She said, in the summer, the basil and some of the greens were growing so fast, and this is back to harvest, that would anybody else like to clip? Maybe we could all learn to clip.
Yes.
And then maybe that's one way, if we have a tight-knit group and no one else is really wanting to participate, then maybe our harvest isn't that big of a deal. We can just clip. If we need basil, we can clip. But I don't know. I'm just throwing things out there.
Well, that's good because, the thing is, we need to learn when to clip.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might need a list also of
We need-
people who are signed
YouTube
to
is
clip.
great.
We did bring our pruners with us.
Okay.
Our little,
But you clip from the bottom, I
Well,
mean,
these are just little handheld.
and just little scissors, just whatever.
The
Yeah.
greens, but then we
That's
also
okay.
might want to
tiny little thing.
prune too,
Oh,
so that things don't get too leggy.
right,
Like the basil,
right, the top
yeah.
bunch.
Then, yeah, just the first 3 leaves or
Yeah.
something. There's just a lot to it, so.
The top.
Where
Um,
can we really make an improvement from last year?
High yield, picking high yield.
Where can we make that
Vegetables.
improvement?
Like high yield,
I know, but we need to make some adjustments
like
to
squash.
what we're doing.
Yeah.
Is there anything we're forgetting? We learned a lot last year.
Yeah.
That's
think
what they've been
we're
talking about
taking-
when you're on their phone is how to distribute things that inside to outside and
Shade
how many of
sun.
each one.
That's the key right there, that's the key.
Distribute.
That's the whole key. I'm sorry I missed it, but I had to take that call, but
No.
that's the thing that keeps people from griping.
Yeah.
You know how people are. We're all good people, Christians, but sometimes we bitch and gripe.
Yeah.
We can, we just need to cut that stuff out.
Well, yeah, I was very concerned,
Makes
about
sense.
all the waters that they weren't getting enough.
Probably not gonna happen.
They weren't getting enough.
Enough food.
Dream on.
I didn't hear a lot of complaints, really, personally, but, maybe they were just behind our backs, but,
Well, Jesus had a heart. I mean, the people that went around the mountain a few times in Egypt had a heart. He was mad because everybody was bitching and griping. That's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, well,
And we need to get along here with this and
Yeah, we
everything
need
else.
to get
Well,
along.
because there was somebody, I have had maybe 2 people say to me, well, and I think the idea had already been explored about, well, what if we had our own bed, our own 5 feet, or our, you know what I mean? a 5
Assigned
feet,
area, right?
Assigned area, and you do your own gardening for those. Well, then, I guess that's been tried before, and people didn't keep up with it.
Here's what happened before.
Oh,
Can I say it? Something?
Yeah.
I was here. we were assigned a big old plot of ground over there behind the bunkhouses.
Oh, but that's far away.
The soil was terrible, and we had no equipment, we had no tractors. We didn't have nets. The deer were over there, there was insects. That's the reason it went down, because
Yeah.
it was because of age too. It was a lot of work. It was big plots. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say, just so you know why it failed.
Okay.
That's why it failed.
Well, that's actually encouraging, because if this works and if we
Yeah.
start knowing what we're doing,
Yeah,
then we'll be able to take on at least a
Yeah.
part of that, and then put up the proper fences.
Yeah.
And so if we start
We
small.
could create, we could create the budget to do something like that, and that's what's gonna
Yeah.
sustain the community. What we're doing is, if we can acknowledge that and figure it out, this is a trial method.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's a trial
It
run.
can't yield enough to handle the community.
No.
yeah.
Right.
And that was not a failure over there.
Right.
The conditions we have here are so much better, it's unbelievable. You just don't know how good you have it.
Well, yeah, we've got the hose right there.
The
It's
whole-
right out the
everything.
Oh,
door.
yeah.
We don't have, we
What
can
about-
see it easily.
The
There's-
plot
You
right
know.
here
Yeah.
that Krista was doing, what's happening with that?
You know, what happened to that? They got destroyed
And
last year.
also Linda,
Destroyed.
Linda's doing it?
no, I mean, she's giving up her plot too in the front.
She
So,
is.
yeah,
I mean, out here.
yeah, I guess out here.
Also, there's gotta be
Wherever it
more-
was.
Right out
Is
here.
that a plot for vegetables?
So there's more stuff?
Yeah, there's more room.
But I don't think they have a hose out here, do they? Or do they? Wait,
We should talk to Linda, because she gave us her dirt.
yeah.
Really?
You sure did. It's hard to garden. It's hard.
Oh,
It
yeah.
takes a sacrifice, folks.
Okay,
It's a
so,
lot of work.
And you know what really gave a lot of yield? Mary, what's her last name?
Gingrich.
Ingrid. They had big pots out there, and they had a lot of stuff on their pots.
It dried up.
Yeah, probably because who's going to water
It
it?
did dry up. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to walk by
Well-
there every day.
Yeah.
I know, what's her
Excuse me.
name?
They don't-
Probably
Rachel
won't let you leave a
had a
hose
pot
out there.
or
'cause
two,
it's
and
out
they were
front.
doing very well until the frost
Imagine
came.
there's one there.
They were doing very well.
They don't really want us to have, pots out there.
No,
but
not in
they-
the front.
No. And then there's the neighbors. I mean, if we did have an emergency,
If we had an emergency, everything would change.
Hey,
There'd be a lot more open.
Things are gonna change. If we have an emergency, people are gonna tighten it up and they're gonna cooperate.
Exactly.
The American
They're gonna
people are
be-
soft and we're soft.
Very happy to help.
We're soft. I'm soft. I'm gonna lie to you.
True confessions.
so,
as I think about it now.
okay, so
Okay, we gotta go.
We've been busy.
we gotta,
What do
okay,
you-
so it's 5:07. We gotta figure out, I'd like to accomplish just some things like,
Okay.
pick your day of watering.
Monday.
Monday.
Larry Bird.
Larry
Friday
Bird.
morning.
And,
And the date it commences, when's it commence? Does it commence the day after we plant? The week after we plant?
The
yeah,
day after we plant.
So it'd be the 10th, something like that? Okay.
and,
Depending on what-
Dawn and, Jeff is Wednesday, he said.
I'm not watering in the rain, sorry.
Wednesday morning or afternoon?
He didn't
Hope he
say,
does.
I don't know, he works a lot.
It's April showers. Come on.
That's another consideration. We need to figure out, what
Back
is
up.
yours, morning or night?
I like to go in the morning.
Next morning.
I like morning. I live here. If I'm here in the afternoon on water, I'm here.
Yeah, well, that was Carrie's point, if we could have, one
Evening
person
better than
take
afternoon.
both,
You don't wanna water.
be
Yeah.
responsible for that
Afternoon,
day.
let it boil.
Yeah, you
Larry,
If you haven't got enough people, yeah, I can take the day.
yeah, so, then,
It just takes
then,
15
then you'll be
minutes, about 20
monitoring,
minutes.
you'll know if it'll be your whole day,
Yeah.
and you'll know if it's too wet or too
Water-
dry.
Yeah.
Right. I didn't mind taking all day Sunday. That was my day, and then another time too, but I liked
Are you on
having
Sunday
the
then?
option of when I wanted to water.
Would you like to take Sunday?
Yeah, I'll do Sunday again.
There's 6 people right here.
Sunday both.
And I guess I'll be a backup,
campaigns back up.
but not for everybody.
I It's hard for me to do evenings because a lot of things pop up or later in the day.
Things happen.
I can't make that commitment.
I'm highly
but
allergic
Friday
to-
morning is really good for
I'm not even water at night.
I'm highly allergic to mosquitoes.
Yes, that's the other thing, is the mosquito battle,
It is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, yeah, it
So
is. You gotta wear a long sleeve
cover
shirt.
up. You gotta cover up, and I put spread out by the door, I hang the chart and, that we sign on, and also a little bag with some, insect repellent, but good,
A good one.
yeah, good one. But even still, you've gotta bundle up when the mosquitoes, unless you get out there before.
Get there early,
you
yeah.
know. See, if you're on, especially, I'm talking the outside garden,
It's a hot mother out
yeah,
there.
so,
About how long does it take to water?
well, of course, that depends, right?
On
But-
how dry it is.
Right,
Well, yeah.
and how gentle, careful you have to be when they're younger, you have to be slower to not, soak all the leaves.
It develops patience in you.
It does take patience.
Wait a minute, are we talking
What'd you say?
30 minutes or an hour and a half?
Basically.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, it's about a half hour,
20
Yeah.
minutes.
At the
Yeah,
most.
half hour for both, right?
half
Didn't
hour
you say?
for both of them,
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, at the most,
Yeah,
even going slow.
yeah.
yeah.
And what approximate times, I mean, I know morning and evening, but like, does
Well,
morning
in-
means
in the
between
morning-
6 and 10, or means between
In the morning, it's important to get there before the sun
sun starts
pops,
hitting, so.
because then the water will burn the leaves.
Right.
And
So you're talking about, depending on how quick it gets hot. So I've been out there 7 in the morning because it's hot by 7:30.
I go up there
that's
early.
the inside bed, yeah.
Um,
The outside bed doesn't get the
They're in the
sun
shades
until
the first
later.
thing in the morning,
Right.
right?
So,
right.
Right.
So the important thing is to get there before the sun gets hot, but that's not gonna be until
Wow.
the end of May, June, possibly. Otherwise, 8:30, 9 in the morning, but as it gets warmer,
You need to
the
be
sun
earlier.
gets hotter, you can feel, if it starts to burn you, you know those plants are gonna get burned.
It's hot in the afternoon, boy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's the
So-
hottest place there is. Right?
So I usually don't go any later than 8:30 in the morning. Like this time of year, I can go at 8:30. But as it gets warmer, I get there earlier and earlier.
So Mary and Fred also want to be on the watering schedule. I don't know what day they picked.
and Debbie,
Oh, yeah, she just texted me.
How about in the evenings, what sort of time?
yeah, so then the inside bed is like,
Shady all
you
the
just
time.
wanna make sure you don't
Soak it.
soak it too much either,
Yeah.
because it can get moldy overnight, so it's.
Right.
That's
we're
critical right
learning.
there.
Yeah,
You probably don't water as much at night.
yeah,
If you're watering in the morning, you probably don't water. as
unless
much
it's
at night.
really dry, then you
Yeah.
will,
Mhm.
you know?
If it's a really hot day,
You know, one thing I noticed in the morning, it was still, a lot of times it was still wet from the evening watering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
You
you
notice
don't
that?
have to even,
A lot of
or if
times.
it rained overnight.
Right.
Like
But it
if
was-
it rained
or
overnight,
do a lot of times.
You may
I
not-
would
you may
go
not
out
run it for a couple of
anyways
days.
just to see.
Water it all.
and it didn't need me. So that it really depended on how hard it rained. If it was a sprinkle,
And then you write
I
on
would
the
go
chart,
out.
no
But if
water,
it was a downpour,
yeah, rain.
then there was no need. And if it was raining when I'm scheduled to go, it doesn't need me.
Well, not only that, but this is probably the number one reason, because it probably does get over, because here we just brought out all this criteria. It's really complicated you have to really think it through and you go, okay.
Especially the first time.
I'm so glad you voiced that.
Yeah.
That,
Because you go,
know,
"Oh."
You're right. It could be that it's
Yeah,
too much water.
it's just not an easy thing.
And I'm
we
thinking
can't
different
condemn
people may
ourselves
have a different
not-
opinion of what's dry and, whether it
That's
needs it or
true.
not. You might go out and think it doesn't need it, and I'll go out and think, yes, it does.
Well, I
And
think
we're
that was the
looking at
dispute
same-
last year and the backbiting, because some people thought we were watering too much.
That's right.
But then some
Right.
some people said the plants are totally wilted.
That's right.
And so just to get on the
That was in the summertime.
that was,
Yeah.
and there was a lot of
Yeah, because
controversy.
The sun can do it, if somebody mistakenly watered it, when it was still hot. Even if the sun has gone down, it may be still hot. And
Right,
then-
right, the plants are still hot. So you
True.
try not to wet the leaves, but then some
Right.
people believe, well, it rains, so why can't we wet the leaves anyway? but the
Of
course,
sun isn't out when it's
I was gonna
raining.
say it's cloudy when it's raining
Right,
typically.
That's right.
According to Michael Fickus, the thing to watch out for is mildew.
Yeah,
And that's one thing that Carrie said, we don't want to over mulch because we could get mildew.
right.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
basically, you know, you go out there and check it. You just, in more than one place, stick your finger in with, you know what I mean?
You know, get dirty, you know?
You know?
Get her dirty.
Get some dirt on your things.
Hey, my biggest joke was, I don't want anybody putting marijuana plants in there. And they thought I was serious. They thought I was serious. You gotta have some
The
fun.
proverbial they.
Well,
It's very medicinal.
That just shows you how many people are still on CBD and, you know, I mean, I saw all those commercials on the internet and it sounded like it was a really good thing.
Yeah.
And, and it may be, but I don't
People
trust
freaked
it.
out though.
No,
That's
it's
what
still
it is.
marijuana.
All right, so what have we,
Yeah.
what
What
is,
else? I know.
what is on our list for optional planting so far?
Okay, the plants we're
Good
I
talking
want to
question.
put that on this.
Good question.
Okay, zucchini and or yellow squash, maybe both, okay. Cucumber. Sweet and flat peas. Eggplants. Basil and tomatoes in the same bed. Hot peppers, cherry tomatoes. So we said tomatoes with the basil, but we didn't say, maybe we should try different kinds, not just one.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
fine.
Do a variety.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got a couple plants, like,
And then
Good,
last
good.
week, or the week before, oh, and basil, yeah, we have that down there. Peppers, did I say that? Yeah.
Said
Hot peppers, but we should do,
onions.
yeah, the scallions again. The other thing that worked was the red leaf lettuce is really hardy.
We have to just decide if that can be planted in the summer.
In
And
the
maybe,
shade in the inside garden, I think that's a good, I think it'll go well in the shade.
okay,
I mean, that's my.
and the bok choy and all that, but
Oh, yeah.
we'll have to really do some research
Arugula.
on how
Spinach.
much green leaf needs, how much sun green leaf
Right.
plants.
And then,
And-
yeah,
And if it's okay to plant it during the summer.
and I think we can get yield more if we plant them better than we did before.
Sure.
So, you know,
Could the lettuce do better in the shade in the summer than the?
yes,
I'm
Yeah.
just saying that.
yeah, that inside bed, I was thinking for that.
Spinach was pretty good last year, wasn't it?
The what?
We did pretty good on spinach, didn't we?
We did spinach and lettuce
They're pretty
and
good.
bok
But that
choy and
wasn't the
arugula
same
and- They did pretty
season. That was the winter season.
I haven't heard of a couple of those, but that's fine.
You're smiling over there.
I know there
We
is
even
a
ate
certain
turnip.
kind of spinach that does well in the
Yeah.
summer.
Turnip greens were a thing in the South.
Yeah, there you go. So, we didn't do well with rooted vegetables, though. I don't think so.
So you're right.
What about
I never
flowers?
tried a radish, but I think we got some, but I
They were
think.
coming up, but then,
It's about this big.
yeah, remember?
Oh, really? So also, what do we want to do with sweet potatoes? Maybe just have a few of them for the leaves? There was something that I was watching about how to plant them, but, you know, I don't think we want to use that whole back bed again for
Yeah.
them, but we
Yeah.
did like those leaves. They're good.
Yeah, they're really good.
And that was hardy, and it was
Good.
growing. So maybe just even if we have the leaves.
So this is just a sample that you can, it's got to be
So
moved
other
around.
sweet potatoes other
Well,
than
why
the
don't we
one
take a
got-
blank one?
Yeah, take the blank one. You can just take the blank one anyway if you want. It's not, you can take that one if you want, Larry, if you want
Okay.
the square foot part of it, but
And then take this.
I unfortunately didn't, yeah, whatever.
Is there a key for this?
So that's just something that Ted kind
Oh,
of
okay.
scratched out, but it's,
But there's no key, what's on there? Oh, peas, you got it, yeah.
yeah, but, you know, now that we know about the shade, it's not right, so.
Oh,
That's
you know,
okay.
it's one
That's
of
okay,
those.
okay.
Well, we can just,
Make the
why don't we
correct-
tentatively just put what we want, where we want it,
Yeah.
And that?
'cause from your list,
Oh, yeah, we can
Oh,
use this
right
as a
now?
master.
yeah,
We're gonna have a little quick fun test, you mean?
yeah.
I got a question about the sweet potatoes.
I don't
Are
have a
there still
pen.
sweet potatoes under
Anyway.
that soil?
No, we dug them out,
Okay.
yeah.
You would
Why,
see the
what-
leaves.
No, I just, when you talk about the leaves.
Yeah, we dug them out.
The leaves were very obvious. They were everywhere.
But the potatoes were only like,
They were
like
literal.
this.
Oh, really?
Oh, no, actually, they were,
So now I
there some
understand why
bigger
you're
ones?
saying just the
Okay.
leaves, forget about
But
the sweet potatoes.
I don't think they were that
What's
tasty.
the effort for that?
Yeah.
I didn't like
Okay.
them that much.
I love sweet potatoes, so
Well, anyway.
I can buy it. But I have to buy a minute of those, she's not thrilled with them.
So if you want to, do you want to do this now, or we could?
Yeah, I
take
think we
them
should
home?
just do a little bit now.
Scrape it in there now?
Yeah, we
Okay.
have
Do you have a pen?
10 minutes more of our
Here-
meeting.
Here's one pen. I have an extra one over here.
Well,
So-
I don't think we're real picky about what goes where, so
But we need ideas. What are your, I don't know. I'm overwhelmed. But I mean,
Well, that's why we're here, to talk it through with it.
Yeah.
so-
You know how God is, one step at a time. This is just like, we're throwing it out there in the universe, and He's going to make it happen.
Okay, so, yeah, so like there's 2 trellises.
Here's a pencil. We
In the
can,
garden for tomatoes, like right about here and, I don't know, here.
That's where you had them
something
last
like
time.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have all the other,
and are those the outside ones? Is that what this
yeah, it
part
goes
is? And this
against
is
the
inside
building.
I remember that, I remember those, the italics and all that stuff. They,
So
they
egg,
grew pretty
egg,
good, but they didn't produce
egg,
anything.
egg.
Remember?
All
They grew well. But
right,
there's no
so-
tomatoes.
Sometimes they say the first year you don't get the fruit, it's the second year you get the fruit.
So I like his thing.
Well, wait.
Pepper, 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 tomato, tomato,
It's not-
tomato.
you're putting
Let's
it
see
in
what
the
he did now.
plant.
Oh, sorry for doing that on my phone.
Get it.
Eggplant, eggplant, pepper, pepper, tomato, tomato, tomato.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be kind of good that when we're shopping, we can use a
Perennials.
key
Perennials
to see
are-
how many we want.
Yeah.
Lettuce,
Yeah, because he
okay.
put, see where it says basil, he said you can fit 4 plants in there. 4 basil, 4, see, he looked up
That's
how
wonderful.
much space.
I
it
mean, this
needed.
cat did some work.
Yeah,
He did.
it's
He
nice.
spent an afternoon doing that, so.
That's good. What is the AR?
Arugula?
Oh,
Arugula, probably.
so that probably isn't good there.
Yeah, we could bring that inside. Bok choy, arugula, he put those, yeah, we weren't.
Yes.
When we plant on the 6th, is it the 7th, whatever it is?
Yeah, 7th.
We better have this down pat.
Yeah. Right.
You know, and it's too bad, because I had other blank ones upstairs, I can't believe I didn't.
Well, what
have
about
them.
those?
There's some right there.
Oh, yeah,
but I
but,
mean, they were squared like,
Oh.
you know, like,
well, maybe we'll just have a master right now.
right,
This could be the master.
This is squared here.
okay. Yeah, you got that one.
So maybe Larry, you can write it in.
Well, we better get it done because 5:30's coming up.
I know. Okay, so,
What's the one over here?
Here, here's a pen.
BEP?
well, we don't
Is
want to
this-
use
Well, I
a
can erase
pen.
though, I can
Close
erase
enough
that.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
just scratch
Yeah.
a few things
Peppers?
off rather
I
than
mean,
starting fresh?
Yeah.
BEP?
Wait,
Yeah.
Larry, is this close enough to write to, instead of starting
Yeah,
over,
just,
just
So
mark
here's
off
the
a few things
question
and
here,
fix it?
here he
yeah,
has-
that's a good idea.
He has peppers inside, this garden gets, the inside garden gets about 4 or 5 hours, you know, maybe 4 hours here. So he had said peppers and cucumber there, see if it would work. I mean, also on the outside too, but I'm not sure. he's
All right,
gonna
so
do that.
she had a good point. Instead of rewriting what works, we'll just cross out like pepper, like
That's a good point.
this whole area could be the cucumbers, like we talked about at the
Yeah.
very edge of the dog park bed.
Uh-huh,
So if you're looking at it, the far right, so that if the cucumbers go on the ground, it won't be too messy for anybody.
or we could try the wires,
Mhm.
the wire basket things for the
Cages, they're called
cucumbers.
cages.
Oh, do cucumbers go on cages?
I saw them on YouTube the other day, but that was the first time I'd ever seen that, so I don't know if they were just, maybe they were mini cucumbers. You know, they weren't so
But you
heavy.
can wire anything in there and then it'll go up, if it's already started to go up, you just,
But what if the cucumbers are heavy? Will it still be all right, you think?
Well, we have on the lattice. What about the lattice?
Well, the lattice could be for the tomatoes, that's where you had put that.
Well, I was thinking the wires
I hear you.
are good.
Whatever, we've got tons of wires.
Yeah, I think the wires are good for tomatoes.
Well,
That's why
you could use,
we use the wires for the sorry, what we used the wires for last time was for the sweet potatoes.
And we didn't have any production.
Well,
The cucumbers didn't produce last year, right?
we didn't even have
I
cucumbers
thought we
last
did.
year.
They didn't go.
No, we didn't have any.
So the
No
wires-
wonder they didn't produce.
Cages could still
What
be used
happened?
if you ran a wire cross going up, so they could actually,
Looking up that.
or even put a wire basket or something to,
Can I say something?
you know.
To grow cucumbers in tomato cages, you need stable supports.
Yeah.
Choose sturdily constructed tomato cages, at least 3 to 4 feet tall, that won't be easily rattled by a stiff breeze or the weight of the developing cucumbers.
All right, so what about no cages, like on the ground?
Right.
Well, I know you can grow them that way.
Okay, well, let's try, I think that's what we
We
should
were
do.
just thinking of space and how much space it would take.
But if you did
So
it, if
there's
you do
no
them on
way
an
around
edge,
that
they can
way.
kind of
Yeah,
go
So
over the edge.
just
as
take
well.
this
A
whole
basket effect
side
going up inside
well,
like the 4,
yeah, I guess.
calling it? The-
8.
So
Well, but
cucumbers
there's,
right
they
here?
put the cucumbers on like an edge, they can go over the, they can go
Yeah.
over the
That's the
edge,
far
they don't
edge,
have to
right?
go up.
That's the far
Yeah,
edge.
so like
Right.
Okay.
half of this.
So you're taking
back
eggplants out of there
bed
completely?
would be
Well,
Yeah.
they have egg,
like that.
they have them
The
several
whole
other
thing,
places.
You got 4 of them there.
And we can put more.
Yeah, that's, yeah, last year you had them kind of spread out. Yes, you had, I think you had one here, and you had one here, and you had one here.
I don't think
You might have had 2 here.
Yeah, support them.
I
thought we
remember
only had
watering
2
them. I
plants.
remember,
We
they
only had-
produced good out here.
I know.
So they were
I
just
think
saying,
that's the key.
they said that.
They
huh?
did.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you got?
So maybe cucumbers right here?
So I did half,
So take these out.
there's half of this one here, yeah.
So you're gonna put, are you putting down, what is the abbreviation, what are you gonna use for cucumbers? CU? And what are you gonna use for cucumbers?
CUC?
CUC is what they did before.
CUC? Okay, cook, okay.
I
Cute.
put cubes.
As long as you know what it is.
Yes.
long as
Peas, beans, lentils, corn, root vegetables, onions, radish, beets, carrots.
Wait a minute, this goes with cucumbers? Say,
It's a companion plant.
well, did you say?
Dill, oregano,
I mean, you better work it out.
What kind of, what, say it again? What goes good with cucumbers?
legumes, peas, beans, lentils, corn, root vegetables, and onions, radishes, beets, carrots.
Huh.
The marigolds and
Yeah, we need
sunflowers.
marigolds on there. That keeps the bugs out.
We had some,
Yeah.
didn't we?
And the herbs are dill
Maybe
and
write that
oregano.
down. Marigolds.
So in the bed of cukes, we want to add in
Maybe some
something,
beans.
some beans?
Some beans and some herbs.
Okay, where you gonna put them?
I guess the marigolds go in the front, right?
How many are you gonna put in there?
Like, we could space them out.
Yeah,
How many do we need?
probably 4 outside. You can buy the plants and then divide it up. You don't need a lot.
So we could do some kind of bean, some
There's 4
kind
right
of
there.
root vegetable, and
Good enough.
an herb.
In the same bed with the cukes.
Mhm.
So. and
Or
they
we
grow-
could just pick 2 of them. I think it would be
The
good.
beans and the cucumbers would be mixed, don't you think? Like, I don't know.
Well, that's what it says here. It's a
Can grow
companion
together.
plant.
Does that mean it goes right next to it? What does companion plant mean?
Let's see.
Gotta be pretty close together.
It says the best plant to plant with cucumbers.
We're gonna be rush this thing through. You don't wanna rush it through.
This isn't
do you?
gonna get done by 5:30.
No,
We're gonna
I mean,
rush
we
it
can have
through.
our next meeting and that can be the planting
We better have a
where we're
little-
gonna plant.
We
It
better
says
have-
that corn
We better
is
have a little
natural
special meeting
stalk
because
Yeah.
we don't wanna rush this.
Yeah,
for
we'll have a
vining
special
cucumbers.
meeting.
Just an hour meeting will do it if we just concentrate on
So-
this.
Yeah, it'll be that.
We could do.
Otherwise, we're gonna just rush through it
Or
and
root
say, well, I gotta go now.
Right, we agree. We,
Does that make sense?
And
Yeah.
find
We
out which
concur.
is the highest yielding.
Yeah,
vegetable.
it's definitely a good idea. So
mean-
we'll just have
Oh, I
our,
gotta go now. No, you don't. We gotta, this is important.
it is important.
Or beans and
So we're gonna,
Root vegetables,
let me look at the calendar.
oregano, dill.
So, when is Mary and Fred's meetings? The first and third?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I mean, the first and third Monday?
Yeah.
Is that,
it?
I mean,
Well, they
their
meet early?
Bible study, is that what
Yeah.
you're talking about? It's the first and third Monday.
Okay, so why don't we meet on the 27th, which is the fourth Monday, for the planting decisions, and then we could shop like that whenever, right after that for the plants, because, well,
Yeah, you can, because at that point it would be warm.
yeah, there's no other first and third, because the other one, our EPP meeting is the 5th.
Yeah, if we have the dirt in there and we get the, well, whatever.
So the 27th is going to be our next core meeting.
The 20, so say that again, the 27th.
Our core meeting to plan out,
27th?
yeah, to
What day is
plan.
that on? Wednesday?
Monday.
Monday.
27th,
Is that a good day for
I
you?
think.
Yeah.
27th, at what?
4 o'clock? What are you gonna have?
No, 6:30 or 6:15.
That's better.
6:15, 6:30?
6:15 is fine.
Where are the lounge?
Yeah,
You mean starting?
6:15 to 7.
27 March?
Yep.
By the way, companion plants grow well together,
Okay.
so that answers that.
All right. So in the
Right,
meantime,
that's
we
This
can.
says marigolds go well with nearly anything,
Yeah.
as being a good thing to help deter
Oh, good.
bugs.
Okay.
So basically, we've got that list, and Carrie, you'll bring that to the meeting, right?
Yeah.
And then we're going to just meet on the 27th and make the garden plan. Maybe Ted will join us, hopefully.
Yeah,
And
Mondays he can be there.
okay. So let's just close out in prayer. And it's 5:30. Joan, do you want to close?
Sure. Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you that you are Lord. We thank you that you are our Savior. We thank you for this meeting. We thank you for the headway that we have made. We pray that it continue. We pray that you guide and direct our steps and that we make wise choices so that we may have a high yield. We thank you for the cooperation that we have and is continued to come. We thank you for life-giving words in reference to the garden, in reference to the committee, in reference to everything to do with the EEP. And we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.